So when you go through Siege YouTube these days, there's always the same video regurgitated by everyone about how to get better at Rainbow Six Siege. They always give the exact same tips about, oh, aim at head level, don't solo queue, XYZ, stuff that you probably already knew, and stuff, when you get told, isn't really going to help you that much. So that's why I want to give an honest and truthful video on how to get better at Rainbow Six Siege for both PC and console. I played this game since I was 15 years old in 2017, starting off as a console player being consistently diamond before the champion rank was added, and now I'm consistently champion on PC. So I know my way around the game quite a bit and I've experienced quite a lot, so I want to share some of that knowledge which I've picked up over the years with you guys. So we're going to break this down into a few sections, but the first one I'm going to focus on is the one that people always search for, and it's about aiming. Now, the first thing I want to say is there's a difference between PC and console. My console brothers, I love you. I was once you. Don't compare your aim to someone who's playing native mouse and keyboard on PC. You have to understand that they're just different inputs, it's different styles of the game. The PC version of the game and the console version of the game are going to play differently. Understand that the inputs have different limitations and one is going to be different from the other. However, stuff that can be applied to both a PC and console mindset here is understanding that you are going to be inconsistent at times, that you're going to just have bad days. I was experiencing this the other day. I was streaming ranked with Marley. I was absolutely flying through the enemies. I was calling shots. My gadget play was pretty good. My aim was very good. I was feeling the hype. I was absolutely really confident and doing very well. And then the next day, I could not hit a single shot to save myself. I was using the UMP on Castle, which is pretty much a non-existent recoil weapon, and still whiffing. And I was playing like absolute doo-doo buns. But something I had to remind myself is, I know I'm capable. I knew from the night before that I can actually aim very good. I was just having an off day. It happens to all of us. And I just need to accept that that is going to be a thing. Which is a hard thing to accept because when you play a video game, you know, you're there to play in the moment. I don't want to play well tomorrow. I'm playing the game right now. I want to play well right now. And that's a massive thing to do with your mindset, which we're going to get into in a minute. But I'm going to also tell you, there's no secret perfect sense either. Anyone telling you that they have a sensitivity that is a one size fits all, which is going to be perfect for you, are completely lying. I made a video the other day saying that I tried Shiko Sense and I actually really loved it. That's actually the sensitivity I'm playing on right now. Now, I think the reason why Shiko Sense is really working for me right now is because it is quite a wrist player sense for a PC mouse. Whereas before, I was playing more of an arm. If you've never played PC, there's sort of different playstyles when it comes to sensitivity, using your wrist more for movement or using your arm more for the movement. I don't think this sense is working for me because it's Shiko Sense and Shiko's an amazing player. I think this sense is working for me because it's a different playstyle than I've had before, and I think wrist just suits me better than arm. For many people, that sense is going to be awful. The same when it comes to controller sensitivity as well. When someone makes a YouTube video or a TikTok saying this is the best sensitivity you need to use, they're just kind of clickbaiting you because there's absolutely no truth in that. You might be like me and find one from a pro player like Shiko, which you actually do enjoy, but that doesn't mean the sense is immaculate. That doesn't mean this is a secret sensitivity that makes anyone good. It's just personal preference, and you're bound to like one and bound to not like others. And I guess I'll insert one of the boring generic tips in here, but that is the fact that, you know, play free for all, play TDM, because as you can see, I use this for my aim warm-up, and I think it's very beneficial. But a big thing when it comes to aim and just playing the game in general is your mindset. I feel like a lot of people, sometimes myself included, just have simply the wrong mindset when they're playing Rainbow Six Siege. Especially when it comes to dying. A big thing, which again, I'll find myself doing. It happens to all of us. We are just human, but you always try and find an excuse for how you died. A lot of times, you'll blame the game. A lot of times, you'll blame your teammates or another exterior factor, when truly, at the end of the day, in that moment, it was your mistake and you could have played it better. Don't just crash out and get angry. Understand the mistake you made and understand how that impacted your team and the overall outcome of the round and the game. Maybe you shouldn't have peaked in that moment. Maybe you shouldn't have went for those hero plays. But it's truly understanding how you, the player, took all the aspects of that round, took all the variables of what operators were on the board, the time, the map, everything and understanding how you could have done that better and made different decisions. That being said though, one of the major things you have to do, and this is an issue I see with people across the board so many times, and it leads to this, 5 stacks breaking up and people just getting offline, is also not being too harsh on yourself. The amount of times I'll see someone maybe lose a gunfight or fail to clutch like a 1v3 and they'll just start crashing out and saying, oh man, I should have won that, I'm so shit, and they'll be dwelling on that for the rest of the match. Very bad road to go down. Anything that happens in that round should be left in that round. You miss a shot, you completely mess up. Maybe even your teammate does the same. The best thing to do for both you and to say to your team, whether they're your friends or whether they're even randoms, is just say, hey, nice try, let's focus on this next round. Because if you're going to be dwelling on the previous rounds, it's just going to be an awful snowball effect of you getting more tilted, you then making even more mistakes further down the road, and it might even just continue match after match until you just get off for the day and just say, look, I'm not having fun. Don't dwell on it. Not everyone wins every single engagement. If that was the case, you yourself wouldn't be getting 1v4s or your team wouldn't be getting 4-0s. Everyone has to fail at some point. That's what happens when there's a winner and there's a loser. Just don't let it get to you. I actually had a situation the other day. We were 4-stacking Canal, meaning we had one random teammate, and we were 0-3 down. Now, our teammate was just saying, we've lost. He was trying to surrender every given moment and everything. He was being quite annoying. And I just went on the microphone and I said, listen, man, if you've got that loser mindset, don't queue ranked. Don't come into these lobbies. If you've not given a single call out, just stop complaining and focus on the game. I left it at that, continued to give him call outs, even though I was in a 4-stack in a Discord call, and we went on to win that game 5-3. Watching his attitude change completely throughout the match was quite interesting, and I feel like some people just need that little push to just focus on the round at hand rather than always trying to quit or surrender or blaming stuff. If your team are very clearly making mistakes, they're Amaru rushing with the diffuser, for example, then say, look, this isn't working. Please don't do this. This isn't right. If they're going to continue to do that, report them for griefing. I'm not saying that people aren't, terrible players in that sense. But when someone, including yourself, are genuinely trying and you make an honest mistake in the game, don't dwell on it. Focus on the next round. That round's in the past. And listen, by tomorrow, you're not even going to care what game you played yesterday. And another thing I just want to say is I think people care too much. I think people care too much about how others perceive them in the game. I think people care too much about their KD. I think people care too much about their stats. That doesn't mean you don't have to try. That doesn't mean you have to actively throw. That doesn't mean you don't have to play competitive. I play this game pretty much every night in a 5-stack, giving out constant calls. I aim for champion every season. It's one of my greatest joys when I play the game. That's why I play the game, is for that competitive edge. But I think at the end of the day, you also just have to remember, it's just a game. Like, don't let it get to you, because you're just going to go down this dark path of getting angry all the time. And I'll be honest, people won't really want to play with you if you're like that. Just remember, you make mistakes. Other people make mistakes. If you win at the end of the day, or if you lose at the end of the day, you're still turning your console or PC off and you're still getting on with your life. And I think that's one of the things that made me a better player, and one of the things that just made me happier when I play the game, is when I lose, I'm just like, oh well, that was a loss, GG, go next, let's have some fun in the next match. Or even when I just fail a clutch, I'm like, oh, that was sick, blah blah blah, I could have done better, oh well, we move on to the next round. And it's made me just appreciate even the bad stuff I do in Siege even more. It helps me just appreciate, I guess, even some of the times I've been outplayed by an enemy. I'm not instantly crashing out when an enemy kills me. I'm like, all right, that was actually quite a smart play by them. They used their utility well. They used their gadget well. I put myself in a bad position and they punished me for that. I'm not saying you have to be like Nick-A30 and be like Fortnite family friendly and be like, whoa, nice shot, bro. Like, not saying that at all. I have my crash out moments all the time. That's part of it. But as long as you're just doing it in a sort of fun, lighthearted way and you're truly not letting it get to you, it's not going to have a major effect on your gameplay. When it comes to gameplay specifically as well, focus on what is working. I'm not saying you have to main one operator, but if you're, experimenting a little bit, it doesn't work for you, then sort of reel it in, go to the operators you're more comfortable with, go to the operators which you're still supporting your team with, and then still try and experiment a little bit more. I found out with myself recently, I was sort of experimenting with a lot more operators, and it started to go well, and then it started started to fall off a little bit, so I reeled it back in. I went back to playing more of my mains on attack, such as Osa and Buck. And once I started to get my confidence back, once I started to get my rhythm back, that's when I said to myself, all right, I'm going to try and play these different roles. I'm going to try and play these different operators and try something new. Because I know I've talked a lot about mindset and everything, but I also think people are quite a bit scared to try new things in Siege. Again, because they care about their stats too much, they care about their rank too much. It's the same when it comes to map bans, in my opinion. People won't try a new map, for example, because they don't want to learn it, because, I mean, if we're being honest, you always want to take the easiest route. If you've played Oregon for, I don't know, 6 years, and you play like Layer for 1 year, then yeah, you'll probably favor Oregon. But me personally, who loves Layer, I like expanding to new things. I like learning new things. And that means when Layer actually shows up in the match, me and my team are prepared and know what to do because we've taken the time to learn that map. We've expanded beyond our boundaries, maybe even left our comfort zones, and it has in turn made us better players. So what I'm trying to say is, don't get too comfortable, but don't too scared to also go back into your comfort zone. You can have that nice balance of both. Don't be afraid to learn new things. Don't be afraid to try something and it fails. Half the time I find some really cool strats and different angles is being killed by them. A really good thing to think of is when someone does something really interesting, they have a really fun gadget interaction, maybe a really cool strat or angle. If that's working against you and your team and they're beating you, instead of you crashing out and being like, these guys are too hard, these guys are playing like pussies or something like that, actually assess what they're doing, think of ways you could counter it, and think of ways that you could potentially use that yourself in future games, and how you could also expand on it. That's the beauty of Siege. So I'm not going to sit here and preach to you saying that if you want to get better at Siege, you have to use this sensitivity, you have to always aim at head level, you have to avoid using these operators, you have to use this optic, you have to use this loadout and everything, X, Y, Z. No, do what you want. I feel like too many people also judge that stuff as well. I'll use holographic on a weapon because I'm just kind of enjoying holographic these days, and people will say, why are you not using ACOG? Then I say, oh, I don't want to use ACOG. They're like, oh, why are you using this specific holographic? And it's like, because I want to, you know, it's like, you're not me. You don't play the same as me. If I want to use a holographic, I can use a holographic. If you want to use something else, you're perfectly welcome to. You can take tips from other players, you can take strats from other players, there's a lot to learn from other people, but just don't try and be the carbon copy of them. Be your own player, do your own thing, and find your own path in Siege. If you just want to sit and play Doc and Ash the whole time and play the exact same maps and progress nowhere and keep making the same mistakes, then so be it, but don't be mad at everyone else when you're not improving and start to find the game boring. So if you take anything from this video, genuinely, the next time you're playing Siege and the next time you die specifically, just accept it, understand that you're dead, don't stop blaming exterior factors, even if they are in play, just accept it, move on from it, and focus on the next round. Because we both know, regardless if a glitch occurs, regardless if they're cheating, X, Y, and Z, you're still going to queue for another match afterwards, so you might as well not dwell on it. So yes, focus on yourself, go at your own pace, and just simply have fun. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you are new, I'll catch you later, have a good one.